Long-distance relationships work like a psychological catalyst. They either intensify closeness to an almost unreal level, or they slowly dissolve it into two separate realities, even when love is still there. Distance removes the option to just be together in silence, so the relationship must survive on meaning, attention, and intention. Some couples use the absence of the body as a chance to fully reveal the inner world. Others gradually lose each other, not through drama, but through quiet psychological separation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Love is not the only force that keeps a bond alive. The nervous system also needs predictability, shared context, and a sense of future. If those elements weaken, the brain begins to protect itself. It doesn't do it consciously. It does it automatically, like emotional self-regulation. And that's why two people can genuinely care and still slowly drift. Think about how the brain measures closeness. It doesn't only rely on emotions. It relies on proximity signals. Touch, eye contact, shared space, small moments of synchrony. Even boredom together is a signal. It tells the body, we belong to the same environment. In long distance, those signals are replaced with symbols. Message bubbles, voice notes, video calls. Symbols can feel warm, but they are still less biologically convincing than presence, especially under stress. This is why long distance often feels intense and fragile at the same time. You can have deep conversations and still feel unsafe. That doesn't mean the relationship is weak. It means the attachment system is working without its usual resources. The brain is trying to build safety using words alone. And words are powerful, but they require consistency. Couples who grow closer create psychological proximity. That's when a partner becomes part of your daily mental landscape, not just your schedule. You don't only share what happened, you share what it did to you inside. This made me anxious. This reminded me of you. I'm proud of this. I felt small today. Emotional access becomes the new form of intimacy. When partners consistently give each other emotional access, the brain forms a stable internal model. Even if they're not here, they're still with me. That model reduces threat responses. It lowers the urge to panic. It also makes the relationship feel real between calls, not just during them. But distance also amplifies whatever was already there. If communication was shallow before, distance exposes it. If one partner avoids emotions, distance becomes a perfect hiding place. You can always say you're busy, tired, or the connection is bad. And the other person, missing context, fills the gaps with imagination. The brain hates incomplete information. When it doesn't know, it invents a story. That story usually follows your past experiences, not reality. This is where attachment patterns become loud. Long distance doesn't create insecurity from nothing. It gives insecurity a stage. With anxious attachment, the brain becomes a scanner. It monitors response time, tone changes, shorter messages, canceled calls. A 2-hour silence can feel like abandonment, not because the person is irrational, but because uncertainty activates the threat system. The mind prefers a painful explanation over no explanation at all, because pain at least feels predictable. Then reassurance becomes a drug. You ask more, check more, need more proof. For a moment it calms you, then the anxiety returns. That loop can turn love into constant emotional negotiation. And the tragedy is that the anxious partner isn't trying to control. They're trying to survive uncertainty. With avoidant attachment, the brain does the opposite. It reduces dependence to feel safe. Long distance can feel comfortable because it allows closeness without full vulnerability. You can be loving, romantic, consistent, and still keep your inner world protected. Over time, the other partner feels emotionally alone inside the relationship. Avoidance rarely looks like cruelty. It looks like politeness, short answers, less depth, fewer questions back, a calm tone that hides distance. The relationship doesn't explode. It dries out, and both people may still say, I love you, while quietly feeling less connected. Now add the reward system. Early long distance can feel euphoric because of scarcity. Scarcity increases value. The brain releases dopamine not only from pleasure, but from anticipation. Planning the next meeting becomes chemically exciting. Every call feels special because it's rare. But dopamine can't live on maybe. If there's no stable plan, anticipation becomes frustration. The same system that created excitement begins to create stress. The relationship starts to feel like a constant, unfinished sentence. And the brain eventually protects itself by lowering emotional investment. This is the moment where people confuse detachment with loss of love. But often it's not loss of love. It's emotional budgeting. The psyche asks, how much can I keep missing you without collapsing? When the answer becomes not much, the brain reduces longing by reducing closeness. That's why clarity is so powerful in long distance. Not perfect certainty, but a shared direction. A date, a timeline, a realistic plan. The brain relaxes when it can anchor hope to something concrete. When it can't, it starts adapting to a life where the partner is not part of daily survival. Another major factor is shared context. Couples don't bond only through feelings. They bond through shared reality. Mutual friends, routines, places, tiny daily references. Shared context creates gravity. Without it, partners become visitors in each other's lives. You can still care deeply, but your days stop overlapping. When lives stop overlapping, the relationship becomes mostly narrative. You tell stories about your life instead of living it together. And stories can sustain intimacy, but only if both partners stay curious and emotionally present. If curiosity dies, the partner turns into an icon in a messenger. A warm memory that slowly stops matching your real day. Here's a real-life pattern that happens often. One partner moves for work or study. At first, both are motivated. Calls are long, messages are constant, visits are planned. Then life expands. New colleagues, new routines, new stress. The distance is no longer temporary. It becomes a lifestyle. The couple doesn't necessarily fight. They simply start having fewer shared moments. Conversations turn into logistics. How was your day? Fine. I'm tired. Same. Love is still there, but the relationship loses texture. And without texture, the brain stops feeling fed. Another example, a couple that actually becomes closer. They treat communication as a ritual, not an emergency tool. They have fixed anchor calls that are sacred and flexible small check-ins that don't pressure the other person. They share ordinary moments, cooking, walking, studying on video, not just serious talks. That creates a sense of co-presence. They also speak openly about jealousy and fear without making it a courtroom. Instead of accusations, they describe inner states. When you disappear, my mind invents worst-case stories. When I feel pressured, I shut down. This is not just emotional maturity. It's nervous system literacy. They learn how their brains behave under distance, because distance triggers two primal fears at once: fear of abandonment and fear of losing freedom. Anxious partners fear abandonment. Avoidant partners fear being trapped by emotional demands. Long distance can activate both in the same couple. The key is naming it so it stops controlling the relationship silently. Trust becomes the central survival mechanism. But trust isn't just, I believe you won't cheat. Trust is, I believe you care about my inner world. And I believe you will show up consistently. Consistency is what the brain uses as evidence. Not words, not promises, but repeated patterns. Control destroys that. When one partner starts monitoring, checking, interrogating, it signals threat to the other nervous system. The controlled partner feels unsafe, even if they did nothing wrong. Then they hide more to regain freedom, and hiding increases suspicion. That is how distance turns into paranoia. So the strongest couples don't win because they love more. They win because they manage uncertainty better. They build structure without turning it into prison. They protect autonomy without turning it into emotional neglect. They create connection that doesn't depend on constant reassurance. A powerful shift is moving from constant contact to high-quality contact. The brain doesn't need 200 messages. It needs meaningful emotional signals. One deep voice note can regulate the nervous system more than a day of dry texting. A call where you feel seen is better than 5 calls where you feel like you're performing. And there is one more element: identity. Distance forces each person to live more separately. If a couple's identity was built only on being together physically, distance can collapse it. But if the couple's identity is built on values, vision, and mutual growth, distance can strengthen it. The relationship becomes a shared project, not just shared time. This is why shared future planning matters so much. Not fantasy, but realistic planning. When you both know where this is going, your brain can tolerate the temporary pain. When you don't, every goodbye feels like a small trauma. Over time, the psyche tries to protect itself by caring less. If you're in long distance and you feel yourself drifting, it doesn't automatically mean it's over. It might mean your nervous system is overloaded. It might mean your structure is missing. It might mean your conversations lost emotional depth. The relationship can often be repaired not by more love, but by better psychological design. So ask yourself a few quiet questions. Do we have emotional access or just updates? Do we have rituals or only random contact? Do we have a timeline, even a flexible one? Do we share context or live in 2 different worlds? And when fear appears, do we talk about it as a feeling or as an accusation? Long distance reveals the true engine of intimacy. Intimacy is not proximity. Intimacy is safety, curiosity, and consistent emotional availability. When those are present, distance can make a couple stronger than most normal relationships. When they're missing, distance doesn't destroy love. It simply shows that love alone isn't enough. And if this topic hits close to home, remember, the fact that distance feels hard is not proof of weakness. It's proof that your brain is human. The question is not whether you feel the pain. The question is whether you build the structures that transform pain into closeness instead of letting it quietly turn into detachment. If you want, tell me your audience style: more calm and therapeutic, or more sharp and provocative, and I'll adapt the same script into your exact voice. Plus, I can write a short YouTube description, title variante, and 3 thumbnail text options that fit this theme.